It's 6 p.m. and I guess that we're ready to start. Some new participants, they are just coming, but I guess that we could launch our class. So let me introduce myself. My name is Cyril. I'm a school manager at Learnix Center for the last 1 or 3 years, and I'll be happy to moderate a little bit our class. Today, tonight, we will have different speakers. All of them are instructors, and they are sharing their experience and knowledge. And today, they will share some experience and knowledge about the topics we would like to cover during this class. It will be a rotation class where different interesting, basic topics will be covered. I will be happy to provide you with the agenda, but before we will do this, I would like to introduce one more participant. His name is Jason. He is our school administrator. Jason, say hello.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jason. I'm a student administrator here at Learnix. What that means is that we don't just sign you up. We're connected to you the whole time you're with the school, even after. I'm here for everything from Jason, I lost my password to Jason, I'm losing my mind. So it really varies. We try and offer a very strong support structure here.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Jason. I would like to share with you some moments about agenda of this class. So what we're supposed to talk about during this wonderful hour or maybe couple of hours. So first of all, we'll talk about Learning Center, about the school, about what is how long we're existing and what are we providing to our students. After that, we will provide you with some information about what is job placement assistance and how do we support students in this way. I guess it will be more than helpful and interesting for all of us. What is quality assurance? In common, you will learn what is this field about, and even some of you will understand whether it could work for you or not. Why QA matters for IT beginners? At this point, you will understand why QA is the best option to start to launch your career in the IT field. After that, we'll discuss soft skills and IT skills development, how to make it, and again, why it's important. Even sometimes soft skills are more important than hard skills. You will learn some more about it. Although we'll discuss benefits of learning QA, why it's worth doing it, especially right now. Graduate success stories. Here we will share you the real examples of our graduates. What is the typical career path for our students, and what is waiting for you? After that, we'll discuss some course curriculum and learning outcomes. Here you will understand which topics will be covered during the whole program, during the course. We will be happy to answer all your questions and answers. After that, we will have a small break, after which we will host the first module of the course. So it means that every one of you will be able, a little bit touch what is waiting for you during the course. It will be some introduction class. So now I will be happy to introduce you our first speaker. It's our CEO, our co-founder of Learning Center. His name is Larry Poltafter, and I guess he'll provide you with really interesting information about the first topics. Larry?
Yes, hello everyone. Welcome to Learnix Center. We are a state certified school. We've been doing that for over 12 years. And the goal of this course is to help you to transition from non-IT to IT. That is the program, and that's what we are doing here. And we concentrate on software testing and quality assurance. And there is a reason why we are doing that. This is the easiest entryway into your IT career. The problem is that many people are afraid to go in IT, and there are good reasons for that. I'm sure that as I speak right now, mentally you are going through the checklist of reasons why you didn't do that sooner. And those reasons may be, well, I don't have enough education, I don't have enough experience, I'm not good at math, I'm not good with computers, and so forth, right? I'm sure that many people feel that way. Is that the right feeling? Is that just a feeling, or this is a real thing? Well, let's take a look. The thing is that IT industry became very big, right? So it's like a medical industry. It's very large. I mean, it's huge right now. Let me ask you a question. Do you have to be a brain surgeon necessarily, or heart surgeon for that matter, to launch a career in the medical field? Well, probably not, right? There are many other ways to enter into the medical field. You can start as a phlebotomist, you can start as, I don't know, a lab assistant or X-ray technician, and many other opportunities for you to grow, educate yourself. And the same thing with information technology. And unfortunately, not many people understand that. It hasn't been popularized, if you will, well. But the thing is that even though you may not ever had previous experience with IT, there are ways to go into this occupation in a meaningful way, step by step, designed for working adults. I mean, we all have responsibilities. This is a school for adults, so we have our regular lives, our families, our daily and monthly responsibilities. Not feasible for you or anybody for that matter to drop everything and interrupt our lives and go into the prolonged studying with questionable outcome, investing lots of money into the process. However, there are ways of designing meaningful job training exercise. The ultimate goal of our course is for you to get a job. That's what this is all about, right? So in other words, we are certified with the state of Virginia, Maryland, New Jersey, and many others. It's a statewide program designed for people who wish to transition their careers and become IT professionals in short 3.5 months. Because even though you never had experience in IT, you can start there. I mean, we'll show you how to start. We'll take you there step by step, and we'll guide you all the way so that you would know how to get a job, and we'll help you with the job placement assistance, and we'll guide you through the whole process. Every occupation requires your attention, diligence, persistence. You have to pay attention. You have to do your homework. You have to engage in the discussions with your instructors. And we have multiple instructors for that matter, and I'll tell you why. We have a process. We train you, we provide you with academic skills, we provide you with heavy hands-on skills, and we provide you with the soft skills, resume preparations, interviewing skills preparation, interpersonal skills, helping you to adequately communicate with your future colleagues at your new job, right? So for this reason, we have multiple instructors coming to the course and teaching certain parts of them. So teaching you how to communicate with different IT professionals and how to interact in the IT office environment. At the end of the course, we have internship that is designed by us. This internship class is very important because this is how you can develop your skills. This is how you can apply your knowledge that you received during the course. This is how you can build your own confidence, increase your confidence level. And also you would be able to prepare yourself for an ISTQB examination and certification and so on. So I would strongly encourage you to do that. As far as the job placement assistant goes, we help you to design your resume. We do have corporate recruiters who are coming and advising you on how to do that. We have trainers who can help you prepare for the interview and to answer interview questions. We're going to provide you with the typical interview situations and interview questions. And again, during the internship, we are going to simulate, emulate a real office environment where you are going to execute personal IT projects. So you will gain experience, right? So you would be able to, we'll show you how to integrate all this into successful job hunting process and help you obtain this new wonderful career. So that's how the course is structured, and this is how we are going to take you from point A, where you are now, to point Z, where you would be able to launch successfully your IT career. So, and by the way, if there are any questions, I provided my contact information, my email address in the chat here. So you're welcome to ask questions, as well as you're welcome to ask questions now. I'm sure you might have some. So do not hesitate to raise hand and ask a question, or type the questions in the chat. This is how we would like to communicate with all our students, and this is how we would like you to be able to actively participate and engage with the instructors. We have highly qualified instructors on our team. Instructors are coming in the evening after their full day at work, and each of them have over 20 years of experience in IT, and they're transferring their knowledge to you. And the best way to absorb that knowledge is through active participation and engagement. We keep our groups small. We give you plenty of time to interact with the instructors, ask questions during the class, ask questions after the class. We do provide a video recording so that you can review the classes after you've seen them. And definitely, please do the homework and follow the instructions. We have wonderful graduates who obtain jobs with Fortune 500 companies such as Fannie Mae and Unisys, as well as with multiple government organizations such as IRS and state authorities in their respective states. However, we have to be diligent and we have to pay attention. This occupation, software testing, requires only common sense and attention to details. Whether one decides to become, I don't know, paralegal or cosmetologist, whatever, you have to go through certain training. Same thing is here. You have to learn certain rules. You have to know how to identify bugs, defects in the software web pages. I'm sure many of you have seen such defects and such situations when you are opening a website or web page and you get 404 error, right? Or something is not working. You're trying to do that. Those defects, they need to be identified in a certain formal matter and be reported to the development team so that they can correct that. So this is actually a wonderful job for you because, as you can see, ultimately, your job is to identify and report the defect following certain methodologies that we are going to teach you. It's not your job to fix them, right? So you're only identifying errors made by somebody else and reporting them, right? So, and we'll show you how to do that. It's actually, it could be fun in terms that you're like a detective. You are identifying what is not going in the right way, right? And then you make a report in a certain format, right?
Professor, I have a question. Brianna
Yes,
Moore.
Brianna, please.
How
Yes,
are you?
please, Brianna. Thank you.
Thank you very much
you?
for
Good.
taking the time to have this meeting and introduce us into this new world of IT. So I have a two-part question. The first question for you would be, what are the titles that run under the QA? So what are the name of the roles that will fall under that category? Could you kind of elaborate on that?
Absolutely. Thank you. That is a wonderful question. And many students are asking this question, especially during their job hunting process. Right. There are no established protocol or convention, if you will, among the IT organizations. Every IT organization pretty much defines the role and responsibilities of their testing team in their own unique way. And this is actually very advantageous for you as a person who is starting the career, and I'll explain a little bit later. So I've seen companies putting out job job openings under the titles of software tester, QA analyst, software QA, QA tester, you name it, different kinds of combinations, quality assurance specialist, testing specialist. So there are many names, and as a matter of fact, this is a wonderful question to our corporate trainers who are going to train you how to hunt for the right jobs using the internet and the job boards and whatnot, like ZipRecruiter or Career Builder. What kind of keywords you should enter to see those available jobs, right? There are many of them. So I encourage you to repeat that question once you have this session with our placement specialists.
Awesome. So the second part of my question, and that was great. It was really detailed and allows me to understand what titles fall under this Q and this wealth of knowledge that you're going to give us. So my second question is, with the, I know you're going to give us, like, what did you say you were going to offer a type, like a job internship?
Yes, yes. There is an internship at the end of the course, and basically the reason why we have this internship is to emulate real office environment, right? So to give you a project so that you can execute that. Basically, what is going to happen is at the end of the study, you'll be invited to the internship, right? You will be provided documentations in Confluence later on that, and you will have your account on Jira. Again, this is, I don't want to scare anybody with this terminology, but it will be all explained later, right? And all the tools, all the environment, and you will be working, you will be having everyday stand-up meetings, and you will be having sprints. And so when you go to the job interview and they will ask you, Brianna, tell us about your typical day, you are not going to be confused. You will be able to
have a good understanding.
Yeah, exactly. That's the feedback that I'm getting from our graduates, because they're telling me, well, I went to the interview with a potential employer and it felt very familiar to me because they asked questions about the project, but I've already done that project. So it was very easy for me. So, yeah.
Okay. So my thing is, I think I've kind of dealt with a quality assurance person in the past. So I just want to kind of attribute that to, so I had an issue with my email, which was Microsoft. So I called Microsoft and then they put me on what I think was a quality assurance person. So what she did was, and you can tell she wasn't really seasoned, she read through these instructions about how to do this, how to do that. And I was like, wow, I could freaking do that. And she was like, it was like so easy. I was like, wow, she didn't really do anything, but she knew, like, she had like a pamphlet to show like what steps to take, for certain scenarios. So you're right. It's not brain science. So thank you.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, and thank you for your question. The thing is that the technical customer service specialists are less trained than the software testers, and the software testing is sort of like a next step.
My question, because I've done a cybersecurity training in the past, and I took the test. My certification. I was able to pass my certification, but I never worked with it because some of the things, I was not really grounded in the, like you said, for preparing you for the interview. Like the courses I took, they never did have time to prepare you for interview. So I studied on my own just to pass the certification. So my question is, for somebody that doesn't have any IT background and want to come into software quality assurance, what do you have to say for that person? Is it a good ground? Is it a good thing? Or is it easy land for somebody to be able to do that?
Well, excellent question, sir. To gain experience, I would strongly encourage you to do all the homework and all the practical exercises that are going to be presented on this course, as well as to go on to the internship. Another thing that our students need to understand quite well is that we are teaching you how to become software testers. There is a testing discipline and there are testing methodologies. Also, you are going to be presented with several modules on SQL, which is a database language, and HTML, and some other tools are going to be like Jira and Selenium, going to be introduced to you, and some other tools as well. Again, those are tools, those are necessary things that many testers are using, but they are sort of disciplines on their own. They are not necessarily part of testing discipline. The reason why we're teaching them is to so that you have those tools under your belt, and you would be able to successfully pass the interview and get the employment offer and start working.
Okay.
So, but we have the comprehensive environment for developing your practical skills and your soft skills. Actually, I'm very glad that you asked your question. The reason many people do not realize, but we are a state certified school, so we have the statistics that is provided to us by the state, or multiple states actually. The number one barrier in finding employment is not the lack of technical skills. Can you guess what is the number barrier that prevents people from getting employed? Lack of soft skills, the lack of interpersonal skills, the lack of interviewing skills, the lack of skills, resume writing skills, and so forth. So according to the government statistics, the largest barrier that keeps people away from getting jobs are not technical skills. Technical skills normally are not a problem. So what is the problem is, well, the lack of interpersonal skills, communication skills, and that's what we are trying to develop with our students, in addition to heavy technical training. I mean, obviously, don't get me wrong, we definitely would like our students to be knowledgeable, and that's the reason why we have this course. But the uniqueness of our methodology is that it's combined with soft skills development, and that's why it's a state certified program.
What's the duration of the course?
The duration of the course is 3.5 months, and then we encourage the students to transition onto the internship. And we encourage students to stay on the internship for at least 3 sprints. And for those people who do not know what sprint means, I mean, it's a cycle of the software development, but that doesn't matter. We'll teach you later about that. So basically, we encourage you to stay on the internship for at least 4 to 6 weeks, right? So, and that would be ideal, but you're welcome to stay longer, obviously.
Thank you so much, Larry.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, we're ready to continue. Now we will talk about what is the software testing field about, what you will do exactly as a software tester. As Larry mentioned, all our instructors currently working in this field. And our next speaker, he has a huge experience in the field, and it's more than up to date because he's still in this area. So I guess that I'm happy to introduce you our next speaker, our instructor, Peter. Peter, please.
Thanks, Cyril. Yeah, my name is Peter Isver. I want to give you a feeling for what QA is in IT, what a QA specialist, and that was a great question about titles, Brianna, because I've had a lot of them. They mostly all mean the same thing with different words. So to give you an idea of what a QA analyst, a software test engineer, what have you. My current title, I'm a contractor on a project right now. My current title is QA automation engineer. But to give you that idea, I'm going to try to sneak up on that topic a little bit. So I'm going to try to do it by telling you what my career has been like and why I'm passionate about QA and software testing. And then I'll talk to you a little bit about what my day in the life is kind of like, talk about a little bit about my current roles and previous roles, and give you some examples of the types of things that you would probably be doing as a software QA analyst, QA specialist. And then I want to talk a little bit about why I love automated testing and test automation. But I also want to include in that an explanation of why it will never supersede manual testing. Manual testing will always be important. So I tend to do both. There are some people that specialize in manual and some people that specialize in automated. So I'll talk a little bit about that as well. So first of all, I want to tell you that I think all of you are probably a lot smarter than I am, because more than 20 years ago, I hate to tell you how many more than 20 years ago, I just stumbled into software QA and testing. It wasn't a plan. It just kind of happened to me. It's one of the best things that has ever happened to me, but it was sheer dumb luck. You are obviously smart enough to be considering it as a career and to actually go for that sort of career. So I admire you for that. Now I want to tell you, I think this is something that Larry mentioned as well, that at least 50% of software QA and testing is common sense. So I'm sure all of you are at least halfway there right now. And then the rest of it, the rest of it is basically training, and because you're fortunate enough to have that option, and experience. Sort of stumbled into the QA. I actually started out not the way I would really recommend as a starting point, but I got out of the Canadian Air Force and I got a job with a consulting company working on the space station program. And I actually worked on the arm that I hope you can see there, the arm on the space station that hopefully you can see in my background. And that was a baptism by fire, of course. But I ended up after 3 years leading a 6-month testing project to actually to test the final flight version of that arm. Now, like I said, I wouldn't recommend that approach. That was a real learn by the seat of your pants. I could have used a good course, some training at that point. I then went on to work at a couple of software startups. One, we were testing a system that allowed us to send advertisements, different advertisements to different people who are watching the same TV show. So we might have 4, 5 different ads that we could potentially people could potentially see, and the software would, based on information about the household and who was living there, switch in the right ad to show them. That was interesting, and so that's one of the things that was a real groundbreaking technology. We were quite ahead of our time. So that's an interesting thing about working for startups. You get to work with cool technology. You're usually way ahead of the industry. I didn't have too much trouble finding a job. I was now, a fairly experienced QA person, and so I went from went through a couple more jobs testing different types of websites, and worked my way up to actually being, for a couple of different organizations, a director of software QA, managing teams of anywhere from 30 to 100 plus people. And at that point in my career, I decided that even though that was challenging and it's interesting, and I really like working with people, I really wanted to work more hands-on. And so since then, probably for the last 12, maybe a few more years, I've been doing contracts mostly for hands-on manual and automated testing. And I've tested healthcare websites, banking websites, recently a machine learning, natural language processing application. And I worked at Pluto TV testing video streaming. I think one of the things about testing is that you get to play with all these different kinds of systems. And you get to figure out how to break them. Some people might think that it would be very routine to do that, but it's actually quite creative. You have to be really innovative when you're thinking about what would real live users do with this system, and what might they do that would make this break that the developers wouldn't think about. And so that's kind of the value add of QA. Developers, various other engineering types in the software development process, they're very technology focused. What can I do with this technology? And what's the latest gee whiz thing I can do? And some people are, how can I make this look cool? That type of thing. But the QA analyst is the one who sits back and says, what do the customers need? And what might the customers do that would make this break, or that the customers would do something where this application would make it awkward for them. Almost everyone has been on Amazon. I know I spend way too much time on Amazon and way too much money there. But at Amazon, there are QA testers that are saying, okay, what are our customers doing on this website? And okay, we're going to add this new great feature to our website that allows people to buy something with one click. That was a new feature at one point at Amazon. So a QA tester had to think about, okay, I'm a customer and I want to use this one-click feature. What might I do that might break that? Or what might happen that would cause me a problem? And then you create a test and you do that. And quite often it does fail. You find a failure and you're able to present that to all of these other brainy technical people on the project and say, look, we have a problem here and we have to fix it. And so because of that, a QA person on a team has a lot of influence. They really rely on the QA people to have this customer focus and find things that no one else thinks about. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to do this. It's mostly common sense, some good training, attention to detail, and a little bit of imagination. That's all it really takes to do that. A couple of other things that I've liked about being in QA, besides just the variety of different systems that I've got to work with and play with, is the fact that you can be very mobile. You don't have to be, but you can. It's a kind of profession that gives you a lot of opportunity to move to different companies, live in different areas. So I'm Canadian, have spent most of my life in Canada, have lived and worked in at least 4 of the 10 Canadian provinces. So I know a lot about different areas of Canada, but I've also lived and worked in 4 different US states. And I have to tell you, Oceanside, California is a very nice place, right on the Pacific. That isn't something that you have to do, but it's something that I have found that being in software and testing has allowed me to do because I was interested in doing it. And because I had this desire to just go where the most interesting work was. So you do have that flexibility. Just to give you a little bit of an idea of, I can't really show you too much about my current project, but I do want to show you that here's a very simple, we're very early on in the project. So in some cases, we're just working on how the customer is going to log in and log out. In fact, this is for the Alberta government. So it's mostly a website for the citizens of the province of Alberta to get access to government services. And so I actually spent a lot of time today testing logging in and logging out in various ways. And let me just see, let me get an account. This is just our basic login site. And I'm going to enter password. And it's telling me that the password is invalid. I know that the password is correct because I set it up myself. So this is a bug. Let me go to, what am I doing for time? Let me go to this tool called Jira that you are going to become familiar with in the course. But this is how I track all my work. These are only the things I'm working on. Actually, this would be all the stuff that my team is working on in this sprint, which means this 2-week period, basically. So these are my issues. I'm in this tool all day long, updating it. And one of the neat things that I can do with it, I'm gonna have to move this bar out of the way so I can see what I want to do. I'm going to click this create button and it's going to allow me to create a bug. So I'm not going to walk through the whole process, but just to show you how simple this would be, I'm going to say something like sign in screen does not accept valid password. Now, there's a lot of other stuff I need to fill in here. Quite a detailed description of what's going on, and fill in some other fields down here, most of which is fairly routine. Once you've done 1 or 2, it becomes almost automatic. And then I would just click create. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to create a fake bug in my team's project. Another thing that I really like to use that I've been doing lately is working in a system called BrowserStack. This is actually part of one of the modules I teach. And I use this for testing on mobile devices. Now, I'm not advocating for browser stack. There's maybe 6 to a dozen companies that do what browser stack does, and most of them, anyway, the top 4 or 5 are very good. My project just happens to use browser stack, and I like it. So just to give you an idea of what I can do in browser stack is I can get access to mobile devices that are in the cloud. They're real devices, but I'm connecting to them through the internet, through browser stack. And so I can say I want to test. So I can test on a Mac, or I can test on an iPhone. So say I want to test on an iPhone, and I want to test on the latest GWiz iPhone, I think iPhone 14 Pro Max, and I'm going to use the Safari browser. This isn't for actually testing apps. This is for testing. Browsers on mobile devices. Okay. So actually, because I've been in my company's application previously, this brought up one of our screens. So I could actually use this device over the internet to test on an iPhone 14 Pro Max and test our application in a browser on that device, which is very cool. And you can see that there's just a huge selection of devices you can get access to test on. You can do a whole bunch of different variations of Windows and browsers, and also Macs. So that is a very cool tool that I really enjoy testing with. So I think I can stop sharing now. And what I want to talk to you about very briefly, because I know, yes, I'm over time, aren't I, Cyril? What I want to talk to you about briefly is automated testing. And I just want to tell you a little story about when I was working at Pluto TV. And so I tested a number of different things at Pluto TV, but one of the things was the system that managed all of their content, basically all their TV shows, all their movies, all their documentaries, everything was managed in this one system that kept it all in a database and then could schedule it to be actually pushed out over their streaming platform. I don't know if you're familiar with Pluto TV, but it's kind of like a free version of Netflix. And so with this content management system, we had probably close to over 500 tests, maybe close to 1,000 tests, all manual. And every time we had a big release, which happened about once a month, the whole team would have to divide up these hundreds and hundreds of manual tests and execute them. And it took us days. And then you had to do it again the next month. And so we actually decided that we were going to write automated tests for these. And automated tests are very simple. It's basically a software program that takes in a test script and it runs that test script and executes your product for you. So it's basically software testing software. As simple as that. And so we got up to about 50% coverage and automation and climbing every cycle because we were working on it diligently. And this was slowly cutting down the amount of time we had to do these manual tests every month. And the goal is to get that manual testing down to just a few hours. And so that's why I like automated testing. But manual testing will never be replaced because there's always things you can't test automated. But the other thing is when you're developing your automated tests, first you're doing a manual test just to learn what it is, and then you have to automate it. You have to write that test script that goes into the software program. And so you're doing manual testing and you're doing automated testing at the same time. And then later on, you don't have to rerun that test because you've automated it. I hope I get to see you guys in some classes. I do a cross-browser, cross-platform testing where we'll actually get to see more of that browser stack tool and how you can use that. I do the ISTQB preparation course, which I think is very interesting and something that everyone should pursue and that I wish was as well developed and important when I started out in testing. And then I'll also do a hands-on class in that Jira tool that I showed you. And so you'll get very familiar with that as well.
Thanks so much, Peter. It was really informative. I guess everyone enjoyed. So dear students, you will definitely meet Peter next to the classes because he will provide you with interesting classes, as he already mentioned, and he will be able to share his gorgeous experience with all of you. So I had one more question about the skills, what is required if you have hard skills, strong hard skills, what is exactly required to get a job, what the manager cares. So it's soft skills. And we have our instructor, Marcel, who will provide you with some information about soft skills development, why it is important, and some videos about it. So Marcel, please.
Thank you so much, Cyril. I appreciate that. So let me get right to the point. So just, I guess, a couple of words about myself. My name is Marcel Richter. I've been with Learnix from the very beginning, which I guess was since 2012. I've been working with Larry Poltavtsov, the co-founder of Learnix, now for over 20 years in several different capacities. But primarily it was involved. I was the head of sales for him. It's for a long period of time. I was head of recruiting for him for a long period of time for his company, Target Labs. And so I have a background. I have, going on almost 30 years of experience in both IT recruiting and IT sales. So the boot camps that I lead for the students are designed to combine everything I know as an IT recruiter and everything I know as a salesperson / sales trainer, because I've done a lot of sales training in my time as well. So the way it's organized is during the course of the training, the 4 to 5 month training that you're going to be doing, I offer at least three. There will be at least 3 boot camps, and they are organized, or they are designed to build up your soft skills. And when I say build up your soft skills, it involves both the interviewing skills, being able to sell yourself in the interview, as well as optimizing your resume so that it is logical and fits in with your personal story. We've spent a lot of time developing what I call as your personal story, which is how did I become a tester? Most of you don't have an IT background. So how do you develop that story, a logical, consistent, cogent story that tells how you became a tester? And so the three boot camps. The first one that I do is I talk about developing that personal story, and I also deal with each one of you one-on-one. We spend I spend a short time with you one-on-one developing the personal story, and then I spend a long time talking about general human psychology and how that helps you in the sales process, in the selling yourself process, and I talk about how. Well, and that includes also principles, importance of body language as well. And then I go on and I teach you some very specific sales techniques for you to use, because we want this training to go beyond the standard cookie cutter kind of training. I include some really advanced sales techniques that only really advanced salespeople typically use. And then with that kind of foundation, beginning in the second boot camp, I go through the typical answers for all the typical behavioral questions, like what are your hobbies and interests outside of work? What is your biggest weakness? What's your biggest strength? How do you deal with conflicts? All those typical behavioral questions, as well as technical questions, but focusing especially on behavioral questions. I go through them one-on-one. We practice them because it's very important to me that the training is really interactive. So most of it is we do role play where I ask you questions and we role play as if it were an interview. And so we go through behavioral questions, but also toward the end of the training, we cover a lot of the typical technical questions. And then we do more extensive role play where I ask you both behavioral and technical questions. Again, we want you to get as much practice interviewing as possible before you actually do real interviewing, because we believe that the more you've practiced it, the better you will be in the actual real interview. And then typically the third, sometimes it's the fourth, sometimes we'll actually do three boot camps before we do the final boot camp, which is where I do one-on-one training with every single one of you, at least 20 minutes with each of you, where I go through the resume, because you'll have developed a customized resume based on the many different resume templates that we offer you. And then we'll go through the resume template together. I'll give you some final advice on it. I'll ask you I'll ask you to tell you your story again. I'll do some career counseling, and the whole process is designed to maximize your soft skills, to maximize your interview preparation, and for you to develop the best resume possible before you go out and go for it and get a job. Of course, some people successfully do that before the training is even complete. So that's just a brief outline what these sales training or we call them soft skills boot camps entail.
Okay, so let's continue because I guess that a lot of you have questioned what you will like, what vacancies you could apply for, what exactly you need to look for, what is the career market prospects, and all of this, and some more about QA. About all of this, we'll tell you our next speaker. His name is Konstantin. Actually, he is our launcher. He is launching the first class at the Learning Center, and I guess that he has a lot of interesting information to share with you today. So, Konstantin, it's your turn. Thank you.
Thank you, Cyril. Hi, guys. It's a big honor and privilege to be here with you tonight. Yeah, my name is Konstantin. I'm here for Learnix to set foundation for your future career in testing during modules 1 and 2, and we will deep dive into module 1 content right after the break tonight. During those 2 modules, I'll be giving you explanations, examples, and general ideas of what is software, how software is produced, an engineering approach to software production, and plus, of course, we'll be covering an intro to soft skills, to your career options, what it takes to become a good tester, all that hardware and software and hard skills and soft skills. Please excuse me, hardware and software. Yeah, we'll also be talking a bit about hardware and software. And let me give you an introduction to what you will get when you graduate from Learnix. I mean, like your career options and financial possibilities. Let me share a screen with you. Headhunting portals, websites where like people do post their vacancies information, and also like probably you used this portal, the Indeed. You see it on the screen, and if we start like browsing and get our try to find our perspectives, how much we'll get. It's like a couple of years. The answer was like pretty simple. Yeah, you may get 65 plus K per year, being at the entry position of manual tester in software industry. Now it's not that easy to predict, because here is a big range of like money available for the manual tester position, up to like 6 figures you may see. And this qualification, if we like browse through like job description, we may find that it's not that hard to get into this manual tester position, because most of these things we will be exploring here at Learnix. We'll be practicing these skills, including like strong SQL and Excel formula skills. You'll have your practice with that here in Learnix. Experience with agile methodologies. Yeah, that all will be covered. So just like one example near Dublin, California, where I'm like currently residing. So yeah, it's a manual job, manual tester, entry position, up to 6 figures, guys. And of course, there are like similar positions here in California, like junior software tester. It also like requires what we are giving you here at Learnix, guys, like a solid understanding of software development lifecycle, SDLC, or like proven or excellent oral and written communication skills. Marcel was talking about like a couple of minutes ago. Yeah, all this is easily achievable here during your studies here at Learnix, when you'll be doing your transition from non-IT to IT path. Plus, your previous non-IT background, your previous non-IT experience is like a plus. If you, for example, know Chinese and fluent in Chinese, you see even here like it is a strong recommendation. It's a big plus for those who've can provide fluency not just in written and verbal English, but also in written and verbal Chinese. So I'm like just browsing in the website right now and trying to get the impression what market can offer to you guys, like the entry-level career software user interface quality assurance tester here near Dublin. It's like $48 per hour. You may add, yeah, here is like a remote position on a hybrid and remote, like 6 figures as well, testing analyst. It is more to second level of your career path, and I'll be telling you more about all career options available, how to build a career track inside test and discipline or outside of the test and discipline. I'll be telling you a lot more about this later on tonight after the recess time, after the break. But yeah, here is another position here in California, in San Francisco, fully remote, full-time remote job, guys. And it's like literally about what we're teaching here, requirements and skills, all this, attention to detail. Larry and other instructors, plus Cyril and Jason talked a lot about tonight. Familiarity with Agile we'll be learning the next week altogether, like proven experience as a quality assurance tester or similar. That's why we established internships here in Learning. That's why we pay a lot of attention to practical skills development. So yeah, you can pretend for this position right after you graduate and complete your internships with Learnix. But you may tell me that this prosperity and this like big bulk of job opportunities is like just for California. No, this is not. That's like here it is. Washington, D.C. area, 70 positions, entry level. You see a software manual tester, and you may find a lot of options right now. 70 open job positions just in Washington, D.C. No, like outside of this. And why companies are paying a lot of money, investing a lot into getting more testers into their quality assurance teams, because they want quality and reputation to be safeguarded by these guys. And that's what they're paying for safeguarding companies' reputation. So this is basically about like your career and salary expectations, where sky actually is the limit, and I'll be telling you more after the break. Plus, I think I was able to give you the idea why companies are doing this, why our positions as testers are safeguarded and well protected, even in the revolving and changing market. That's it. If you guys have any questions, do not hesitate to ask them or type them into the chat. I'll be happy to reply to them. Back to you, Cyril.
Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks so much, Konstantin. I guess that if someone has any questions, you may just type them to the chat or ask them directly to Konstantin. So let's continue now. I guess that it will be great to know some information, some examples to see how the typical career path for our graduates looks like. And I'll be happy to provide you with this information and to give you some real life advice as examples. So let's go to the LinkedIn. I guess that everyone of you familiar with this, and I will show you some real life examples of our graduates. How was their way? I should say that our course especially was designed for people with no prior experience in IT field. So that is why all students, all people I will show you right now, all of them came to Learning Center without any experience. But as you will see that every one of them got a job and currently working. They have different career paths, and actually it all the time it depends on you. Some one of you would like to start with manual testing. Some of you, and it's like the most popular way because it's easier to go like step by step. Some of you would like to just to miss the manual testing to start working on automation at once, and it's affordable too. So let's start from Hannah. As you can see on the screen, it's our graduate. Her name is Hannah, and when she came to Learning Center, she didn't have any experience. Actually, she was working in Amazon, as you may see, like mostly in Amazon. She was working before Learning Center in a contact center. She was just in customer support. She was helping people. She didn't have any like deep technical skills. And when she came to Learnix, she said she would like to gain some experience with that. And after finishing 3.5 months course plus internship, she got a job. As you may see, she got a job really fast, I guess within 1 month after graduation, in an international company, as you just see. It's Hannah, and she's working. She graduated 2 years ago, of course, and she's working in it for these 2 years. After that, the next example, it will be the interesting example, because I will show you 2 students who are working nowadays in Amazon, and they got a job in this company just after graduation. So the first is Radislava, and the second is Michael Mikhail. Both of them graduated, of course, in different time. Radislava graduated in 2020, and Michael graduated in 2021, and both of them got a job. What is interesting in their cases, you may see, just like after graduation, they got a job as a senior associate. So it means that it was a really interesting case, because when Radislava came, she passed the interview so successfully without any prior experience in IT field. She said she passed so successfully that she got an offer not for a junior level or for the middle level, but at once to the senior. So as you may see, like it was really fast. She got a job in it, and she's working successfully. With Michael, it was a more interesting case, because after interview, he got an offer as a team lead. So he didn't have any prior experience, but he passed the interview so successfully that he got an offer to work as a team lead. So it means that he had like 3 people working on him as well. And he was afraid, and he said that he's going to not to take this offer and just to start as a common software analyst, because he was afraid he won't handle it. But we talked to him, and we explained that he will be able to do this. He is not needed to reject this offer, and he got it. Yes, for the first time, he was just requesting some support from our school, and we're providing the post-graduation assistance. So it means that once you start working in the company, you will be able to get back to us, to our teachers, with all questions you have, and we will support you with the first project. After that, you will see Margarita. She had, although she has an interesting case, again, as all others, she didn't have any prior experience in the field. But after finishing the course, she got a job. It was a contract job for 1 year and 3 months. For 93,000 per year. She said it's okay for sharing this information, because it was really interesting, because after finishing these 5 months, even she finished 3.5 month program. After that, she started her internship, but at the same time, she was making her job searches. And she got a job before finishing the internship. She got a job offer, and she used to work for more than 1 year. As you may see, in June 2023, her contract expired, and she decided to take some break for the summer, and she got back to us, the end of August, and requested to refresh SQL classes. It's totally normal Learning Center if you come back to us to refresh the entire program or some topics, because she when she was working in CISO, I don't know, software, she didn't work with SQL. But nowadays, a lot of them, especially manual testing positions, they require strong SQL. So that is why she forgot about it, and nowadays she's refreshing SQL classes, and she will be in market really soon. So I can share with you different positions. For example, Yusra got a job after finishing. She already had 2 after finishing graduation. She already had 2 companies. She came from Kabul, and she had some, as you may see, she had some experience. I mean, not experience, but some knowledge, because she graduated computer science from Information Technology University. But again, without strong soft skills, without some real hands-on experience, you're not able to get a job. Unfortunately, that is it. She came to our school, and she said that the most useful for her in our school was especially job searches preparation, soft skills preparation, and job searches assistance after that. So that is why she was happy with that. I think something in chat, maybe some So once we complete school and get hired, can we come back later on and retake a course or class for refresher? Totally correct. And totally for free. You don't need to pay anything for that. It's okay. It's normal practice. We Learnix Center exists for more than 11 years, and we have students who are coming back to us in 5 years sometimes to refresh something. Sometimes the people have different life situations, and some people finishing the course or not even finishing, and they need to have some break for different reasons. And they get back to us in 1, 2, 3 years, and they are able to retake the program again for free. So I wish Olivia, we had a interesting case there too, because she was one of the people who got a job before finishing the course. As they mentioned, it's normal practice when you start with job searches, because we start working with your job searches preparation during the program, in the middle of it, so that you totally understand what skills exactly you need to get a job after that. And actually, Olivia finished the course, got a job, and she brought her seed through our course. And nowadays she's in job searches, and I guess she will get a job really fast. And one last thing, one last profile I will show you, because I could share a lot of them. But one interesting, it's Anderson Taylor. As you may see, he works as a senior SDET. What it means SDET? So it's like, it's especially automation testing specialist. So he finished our course in April 2018. After he was working as a quality assurance engineer, just like for manual testing. After that, at the same company, he got a position as the quality assurance lead. So you may see, it took almost 2 years for him to start working as a team lead, to improve his career in this field. After that, he decided he got back to our school. He got automation testing part of it. After that, he started his job searches and got a job as a quality engineer here in this wonderful company. He worked there for 1 year, and there actually, when you work for some kind of company, you have 2 choices. The first, to stay in the same company and wait for some higher position, or to change, just to work, to go to the market and to find a company where you have like higher position opened. So he went to the second scenario, and he found a job as a senior SDT. Nowadays, he is working for 2 years as a senior, and I should say that salaries in automation testing, especially for seniors, starting from 120,000 per year and much more. So as you may see, why software testing is the best part, because after that you have a lot of different options to improve your career. For example, one of our instructors, Alex, he actually helped the internship in our program. He finished our program. He started working as QA. After that, he went to a business analyst position, and after that, nowadays he works as product owner. Product owner is like on the same stage as automation tester. I mean, in salaries and all of this, but more humanitarian. He just works more with people, not with products. So this is how it works. Actually, during the course, or if you have your personal issues, personal questions, you may reach out to me, and I'll be happy to provide you with all the details. You may find my contacts in the chat. So don't hesitate to ask all questions you have. And now, I guess that it will be really interesting for you to hear some information, something about your path from one of our graduates who got a job, I guess 9 months ago or something. Her name is Alexandra. She is currently working as a QA in Airbus, and I guess she has a lot to share with you. Alexandra, are you ready?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is, my full name Alexandra, but I like by Sasha. I'm from Ukraine, and I came in USA last year. I'm from Ukraine, and I was working as a bookkeeper more than 11 years. I have not any experience in IT. I finished Learnix Center courses in September, and I found my QA job in December. Yes, right now I'm working on a big company, Airbus. There are a lot of people, French people, because Airbus is a French company. I started looking for a job from October. Yes, while I was attended internship. There are a lot of calls from recruiters. Some of them was really good. And I think, wow, I get a job, but nobody called me back. and I never give up, and I had to continue. And then it was 2 technicals interview, and then I found my beautiful position right now. I have a really great teams, a nice, good, and wonderful manager, and every day I'm going to my work with a smile. I have a hybrid position, but I love my job, I love my teams, and right now I'm really happy to work as a QA, as a test engineer. And I'm grateful to everybody from Learnix Center. You help people change our life, to build our new life in a new country. And thank you, and thank you, and thank you. Right now I have a really good apartment. I have a new car, and right now I'm very happy to be as a QA. And if you have any question, feel free to connect with me. Right now I'm sharing with you my email. Maybe you have any question. I understand what you're feeling right now, because 1 year ago I was on your place, and feel free to ask me any question.
Thanks so much, Sasha. Thanks so much. Guys, if you have some questions to one of our graduates, you may ask them right now in chat or personally, or you may email them. We could just right now give the word to Konstantin again. He will just tell us some words about our course curriculum, learning outcomes, so that you can totally understand what exactly will be covered in the program. So Konstantin, your turn again. Please share with us some information about the course curriculum.
Thank you, Cyril. The course is specifically designed for you guys to bring from non-IT, non-technical background to IT and technical position, entry-level position of quality analyst or software tester. And this is a 96 clock hours course, so it will last for 3.5 months. We will be doing our classes twice a week. For 3 hours with a short break in between. We have 11 modules plus internships. So most of our modules are within 6 hours, like 6 hours for module 1, building a career in software testing, 6 hours for module 2, software development lifecycle, and some modules which are about core principles and techniques of your craft, like testing principles and techniques. They are taking more, like 12 hours to cover. But in general, the most of the time you'll be spending is your hands-on project for 21 hours under instructor supervision. Definitely you will have your time to prove yourself as a prominent tester there. Plus we do 3 hours mini module to get you prepared for ISTQB certification as the first certificate tester can get, and we do our best. We encourage you guys to get that certification. We'll help you with preparation. This is like not just a certificate. It establishes some trust between you and your future employers. It certifies your ability to test things on basic level as manual tester, and that you know like some basic principles of automation. So a bit more about content of modules we are providing you. Building a career in software testing, it's module 1. I'll be covering this module for you. We will get introduced to software testing and quality assurance. We will definitely deep dive into all variety of career options that come with software testing. Compensations, of course, we'll talk about this as well. And more importantly, we'll be doing a lot in practicing of our skill set, tester skill set, hard skills, plus soft skills. We will explore and get the inception why soft skills are required and why they're more than welcome in software industry. It's not just an addition to hard skills, it's a component, an element of your success in software industry. And of course, when we are talking about software industry, there is a module too designated for this specific topic. I'll be covering detail, and we'll be having a detailed discussion on software development process, systematic versus unsystematic engineering approach versus non-engineering approach, what defines a process to be engineered, relationships, dependencies, software development life cycle as an engineering approach. That's what we'll be covering there. Of course, we'll get like different concepts and different methodologies of software development, including the most popular one, Agile and Scrum. There is an extra module for that. You will deep dive into Agile and Scrum, what it takes to test and to develop software fast, what challenges you'll be facing there, what techniques you may use to overcome it, all that elements of agile methodology, including sprints, scrum mastering, and stuff like that. And after you'll get prepared about these core elements, you'll be deep diving into quality factors and attributes more into your future profession. What are quality factors? What will be testing? What will be providing as service? Quality is what testers are providing as service to different users, like different people, yeah, including those who will be using software and those who will be developing, those who are developing software. They're all different users. We will learn everything about that, plus about quality factors, how to establish them, how to identify them, and of course, different types and methodologies of testing, sandbox testing, white box testing, that's all been covered. And then we'll look to web interfaces, how web portals are developed now, what it takes to test those user interfaces. You'll get a precise and comprehensive knowledge of web technology and e-commerce, because these markets are very important now. They're requiring more testers, and no wonder we'll be dealing with this, and we'll be telling you more about web and e-commerce testing as one of our modules. And of course, 508 compliance, accessibility testing. This is what specifically distinguishes our course from our competitors. We do provide an extra module to practice 508 compliance. The testing of different technologies designed for vision and hearing disabled people to get access to web portals and software. That's what we'll be covering there in this specifically designated module. Plus SQL databases. SQL is not an SQL, but SQL. It is a language database used to communicate with developers and with testers. It's this language is called query language. We make queries. We make queries, and we are doing like this by using SQL. And you will learn a lot about this. Plus, you'll get your hands-on experience there. And one of the most important parts of every tester's job, one of key elements of our routine is effective test documentation. We need like to write it. We need to include evidences into there. All like stuff we'll be reporting, our reports, our test cases. All documentation must be in order, and we'll practicing that, how to create an effective and productive test documentation. And of course, we'll be learning a lot software tools specific to testing industry, like Jira. Marcel shown to you already, guys. Will be more to automation as well, to automation tools, basic impression about them, like Selenium. And if you guys will be willing to deep dive into automation after manual course, yes, we do have an automation course for our prominent graduates who completed successfully the this basic course I'm talking about right now. Yeah, we do provide extra classes on automation for those who desire to take them, to get more into to get more things into hardware, hard skill set, right? So, and yeah, the project 24 hours is all about your opportunity to prove that you got all skills and all knowledge required to become a successful tester ready for market. And yep, ISTQB certification, I've talked about it a bit already. So for the sake of time, let me answer the questions if you have any about the curriculum. But I think you got the basic idea, the impression, what it will look like. I mean, our curriculum for LTC 001, software testing quality assurance program here at Learnix. So this is generally all about it. If you guys have any questions, do not hesitate to ask them right now. I think we'll have designated time for questions and answers for, Q&A session. So back to you, Cyril.
Yeah, thank you so much. So guys, I received some questions about what is the difference between like courses, what is included, is not included, so just in a few words. The difference between QA Foundation and full cycle is the amount of practice, because full cycle is QA Foundation plus internship. So the QA Foundation course, say for 3.5 months, it includes some theoretical knowledge, some hands-on experience, job searches preparation, and soft skills preparation development, like resume, LinkedIn profiles, and everything. And to the full cycle, after finishing the QA Foundation course, you will continue with 3 sprints with 6 weeks of internship. You may take some more if you need more practice, but at the same time, you will be doing your job search. So the difference is that if you take all students starting together, but if you take a foundation program, in 3.5 months, you will just start your job searches. If you take full cycle, you will continue with internship, with doing the job searches at the same time. So this is the difference. Again, if you have any questions, you may ask them to me or Jason. For the future, especially for our students already enrolled, we're hosting classes twice a week from 6 to 9 p.m. For example, the schedule for the September batch is Tuesdays and Thursdays. You will have like 6 hours per week for classes, and from 1 to 3 hours per week for your homework. Actually, most part of the homework we're trying to do during the class, most part of the work we're doing during the class, but you will have some homework. It will be really beneficial. So again, thank you guys. Thank you for attending. See ya.